just seen this local arrest in Saugeen Shores, and I had an opinion on it. So anyway, we'll read the brief description. On January 2nd, 2022, at approximately 5:24 a.m., Saugeen Shores Police received a call of a break-and-enter in progress at a residence in Southampton, Ontario. A male party had attended the address, forced his way into the home, and demanded the vehicle keys from the lone resident. The male party was then able to flee the address in the stolen vehicle prior to police arriving on scene. And I just want to note, and what I wanted to speak on is the charges. We'll read this in a minute, but look at the charges. Theft of a motor vehicle, and that's what the title of it is. Break and enter and theft of a motor vehicle. Now, I'm really trying to understand why they went so light on this guy for multiple reasons. First reason, he forced his way into the home and then demanded the keys. That is a home invasion robbery, first of all. So the charges should have never been so low of to be theft of. They went super weak on this. He forced his way into a person's home. That's home invasion, and then he demanded the vehicle keys in a threatening manner, it seems like, and that is robbery. That's actually a home invasion robbery charge. Much higher than that of a theft of a motor vehicle. The charge of theft of a motor vehicle is when somebody just goes and takes somebody's vehicle. There's no person really involved. It's more about the property. Which is actually the charge in the United States. They call it grand theft auto. So that's what that is, theft of a motor vehicle. You're going in and you're attacking the motor vehicle and you're thieving and stealing the motor vehicle. But on this incident, he had forced his way into the home and then demanded the keys. That's home invasion robbery. See, they have their charges wrong, right? He forced his way into the home. It's a separate crime. He committed the robbery and then he stole. So it should have been theft of a motor vehicle. That's one charge because he did steal the vehicle. Then it should have been home invasion robbery for the home invasion. See, and then if you don't charge them with this, everybody's doing home invasions and robberies and they're not even getting charged with it. So I know the law and I work with the police and for the police, whether they know it or not, on a daily basis. There's so many different police agencies, right? But today I get notified from my local law enforcement and it just that is one thing that stood out to me, how he was not charged with those other higher charges. And then at 6:24 a.m. later that morning, which was just yesterday, Cancom Security observed the stolen vehicle traveling towards the town of Port Elgin. So Southampton and Port Elgin are sort of small. Southampton, that being smaller, and so the word must have got out even to security and everything like that around town that somebody's car got stolen, because it must have been a violent home invasion robbery. Because most of the time you wouldn't even know your car's stolen because it's a separate entity until you realize that it's stolen. So, but this was a home invasion. The person knew from the get-go what was going on because they had gotten violently robbed or whatever. A Saugeen Shores officer was able to locate the vehicle shortly after in the 500 block of Bricker Street in Port Elgin. So he made it to Port Elgin or whatever. I don't know where he thought he was going, okay? We're out in the middle of nowhere here, and you're going to Port Elgin, and Port Elgin basically is Southampton, so you're not going nowhere. And Saugeen Shores, and actually you're driving yourself right to the dispatch because you're driving yourself right to the jail because Port Elgin's the place with the OPP dispatch. So if I'm not going to give any recommendations on which way you should have went or whatever if you had done that. But let's just keep it at that. The officer approached the male an attempt to make an arrest. And then he brandished an edged weapon like a knife or whatever, something with an edge or whatever. They didn't weren't specific on it. And that makes me think he was also very violent in the way he forced his way into the home and then demanded the keys. That's a robbery, and he did it with a freaking weapon. He had a weapon on him. Okay. This guy's violent. He's dangerous. I don't want him anywhere. A vehicle? If he's willing to rob me, home invade me for a vehicle, who knows what he'll do? I have jewelry. I have clothes. I have things. I'm tired of it. And then when the officer tried to arrest him, he pulled a weapon on him, which is another charge. They did the possession of the dangerous weapon, right? But the additional charge should have been assault on a police officer or peace officer, and then there should have been another charge of possibly even um, I know there's use of, like illegal use of, but I don't think he used it. So they just charged him with the possession, and then the officer noticed. So I don't think he assaulted the officer. Okay, so the only charges that I see that they're missing here is the home invasion robbery, as well as the home invasion robbery, home invasion and robbery. Two, they could be two separate charges. He got charged officially so far with theft of them, but it usually goes down, not up. Usually like we hear that charges get dropped or reductions and things. It's time for it to go back up. Okay, Judge StacksAMilli is in service. I've always wanted to be a judge, and I just am good at it. Unfortunately, I don't serve in an official courtroom, but I have a YouTube channel that makes money, and I'm doing well for myself, and I have my own little thing. And I, under the law, can voice my opinion under the law of freedom of speech. And it's, what can I say if my judgments are good and I know the law? Okay, but he got charged with theft of a motor vehicle, aka grand theft auto in United States slang, break and enter dwelling house. But that's the thing, it's not seen as grand theft auto. When you hear the word grand theft, or you hear that charge, you do not want to be charged with grand theft auto. But when it comes to theft of a motor vehicle, whatever. Break and enter dwelling house. Okay, it was more than a break and enter. That's my argument. Way more. Break and enter is when you break and enter into someone's house to steal some tools or something. Nobody's there. And the whole thing about don't do a break and enter. You know what the criminal thing is? Oh, buddy's going to do a break and enter. That's an easy crime. Nobody gets hurt, whatever, really, except the property. It's not that good of a crime, though, because the property is still a bad crime because you're hurting somebody's property, which is a lot of money and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But guess what? That is not what he did. He just not only broke in, but he also attacked the homeowner and kidnapped them and whatever. So it also could be a charge of kidnapping. Dangerous operation of the vehicle. He's just riding around. He's a thief, 27 years old. Like, I'm 28. Like, you make me look bad in the court of law. Operation while impaired. He was drunk. He was at high. He was impaired. Mischief under 5,000. Okay. Possession of a firearm or ammunition. Contrary. So he had a firearm, supposedly, quite possibly, or ammunition. This was robbery, home invasion robbery. Possession of firearms or ammunition. I said that. Operation while prohibited. He wasn't even allowed to drive a car. Like, who is this guy? Okay. Bad guy. Okay, he's not supposed to be driving a vehicle. He goes and robs a vehicle. He's drunk. He's high. He goes to the next town, gets busted.